Thanks very much for staying on with us on BNSN, the stock game. We've got very quiet markets right now. 52.22 for the Nifty on the last count. But what's happening with the derivative segment? Let's get you more details on that from Darshan Mehta. Hi, Darshan.
Hi, Megha. What we're clearly seeing is, as you pointed out, volumes are not there. We went below the 5250 mark on the Nifty futures. What we're seeing is close to almost 7 lakh shares being added in open interest. But what we again, the point is that as usual, there's a lot of call writing that is going on. So levels of 5300, 5400 are seeing significant amount of open interest addition, and even at levels of 5200, which has not yet been breached, seeing almost 2 lakh shares in open interest. The maximum open interest totally is currently on the 5500 call, but that is slowly and steadily moving towards the 5400. That means that there's a lot of pressure on the market. On the lower side, only place where put writing is happening is a 5200 put, in which 3 lakh shares have been added in open interest, and that is where the maximum open interest is. So this seems to be the first support level that the market is looking at. Stock specific counters like an All-Mobile is up almost 9% on the Morgan Stanley report that came in. Even though they've cut the target price from 112 to 60, the counter is still moving up. Delta Corp is seeing a lot of buying activity, or the stock is up 4%, and Hexaware is up 3%. On the losing side, India Cements, BHEL as well as Power Grid are down in trade. In terms of open interest, Ranbaxy is seeing open interest up almost 10%. Fresh shorting is seen on the counter, and Voltas open interest is up 8%. Fresh buying is seen there.
Okay, thanks for that snapshot, Darshan. That's how the F&O side of the market is trading. But what's happening with BNSN, the stock game? Well, first, let's tell you how the game is played. We get on board 3 experts for the entire week. In this case, the week ends on Saturday. They give us trading ideas every day with a notional amount of 5 lakh rupees that is given to them. It's a total of 4 stocks. A compulsory churn of 2 stocks is required every single day. Now, in the case of a target price or a stop loss being hit, they must replace that with a new one. If there's a sell call in the cash market, that too is replaced by a new stock. So inevitably, you have new trading ideas every single day. And the last and final rule, on the final day, we'll calculate the profit and loss of each of our experts, see who has made the maximum amount of money, and that person is the winner. Well, let's get ready to play with our 3 experts who are standing by with us. We've got on board Shrikant Shetty. There's also Saurabh Mittal, Managing Director at Swadeshi Credits. And finally, Shrikant Chauhan, Senior Vice President, Technical Research at Kotak Securities. Gentlemen, great to have you with us on board. It's 2 days before the final winner will be declared. So, Shrikant, what's your strategy?
We continued with 4 long calls as we continued with during the week. The markets have still remained choppy, but we're trying to find out stocks where there could be some potential upsides from either from lows or where there's continued momentum. The first one is Crompton Greaves, where we've seen a large block deal happening yesterday, and the stock is at support levels where we think the pullback could be possible there till about 112, 113 kind of zone. The other stocks are Z, where there's been good momentum, and we think the momentum can sustain. Also, the broad story of consumption or the expenditure on the media side both looks interesting. So there is scope for upsides for Z. The third one is Jet Airways, where I think the correction has been quite steep, and there is scope for a pullback rally here. And the fourth one is Kaveri Seeds, which is a hybrid seed, and has been showing good performance and has a decent scope for upsides.
Okay, so like day 3, Shrikant for today as well is betting on 4 buying ideas. Saurabh, take us through your portfolio, because it looks like you've decided to hedge a bit. 2 long ideas, 2 short.
Yeah, the market seems to be in a state of flux. It's trying to find direction, and it's closer to its support level. So I've gone in for more of a hedge strategy. I have 2 shorts, State Bank of India, which showed some weakness yesterday as well, and Glenmark Pharma, which has had a great run over the last few weeks, so it might be ready for a little bit of a correction. And 2 longs, I have JSW Energy, which is doing well, and I have a long on Asian Paints, which is the largest paint manufacturer in the country.
Okay, 2 buys, 2 sells. Let's find out what's in store from Shrikant Chauhan's portfolio. Shrikant.
I think for the day also, we may not see any major activity out of, say, like broader market, and that is why I have selected stocks which are doing well from last 3-4 days, but they are into a specific range. I have retained the Geometric Software from my yesterday's portfolio, but today I am adding Tata Chemical, which is doing well since last 3-4 days. Other than this, I am looking for Arvind and IVR Cell Infra.
Okay, so 4 buying ideas is what Shrikant Chauhan is also recommending this morning. So let's take it to each of our experts then to get you more details behind their stocks for day 4. Shrikant, the first one, a Crompton Greaves Futures is what you're betting on. Yesterday, of course, we had a couple of those block deals happening. CLSA as well as Deutsche Securities hived off some part of their stake, and HSBC on the flip side picked up some more stake in the counter. Given how it's lost about 9% in the last month or so, where do you think the counter's headed?
So if you look at it broadly, it's been in the range. At the lower end of the range is about 105 kind of level. So this trade has also happened at the lower end of the range. So I think there is scope for a pullback till about 115, 120 kind of zone, which has been the last trading zone of this stock. Unless the fundamentals see some improvement, we are unlikely to see a move beyond 125, 130 kind of levels. So till then, I think it's 100, 130 kind of zone which the stock could trade in. And I'm looking for a small pullback till about 112.50 levels.
Okay, that's the word which is coming in on a Crompton Greaves, very quiet as we speak. Saurabh, you're betting on a State Bank of India shorting that counter. Walk us through the expectations from the credit policy and how do you believe this counter is going to react?
Well, the RBI has been quite firm in saying that, they are not interested in raising or reducing rates for the current period. The GDP numbers were in line at 5.5%, but the inflation still remains a concern. So I don't see interest rates going either way in the short run, and the banking index has also been under pressure. So there's a situation with the CRR as well, and I don't see a cut coming in anytime soon. So the banking stocks may be under pressure. But it's very difficult to call intraday movements. Yesterday, State Bank was weak. Today, it's a little firmer. But, I've taken a short call given that I have a hedged portfolio. So let's see how it goes.
Okay, that's the word coming in on a State Bank of India, which Saurabh is shorting. A Geometric, on the other hand, is a counter that Shrikant Chauhan's, of course, going long on. Fundamentally, the company is quite bullish on its growth prospects. But on the charts, how is it looking?
Like we discussed yesterday, that the stock is still into that bullish zone. The stock is forming triangle formation. Yesterday also, it was very close to our target level of 108.40, but it reversed back and it closed somewhere around 104.50. But net, the stock is still strong. The volumes are still there. Even now also, we can check that the BSE volumes are like the current volumes are greater than the volume of last 3 days. I think in my sense, the buying is still going on, and that momentum is required. I think that will come only if it breaks 107.40 today, and that looks like, because the overall market is not going to go anywhere. So I think mid-cap stocks are going to do well. Again, the target is same 108.40 first, but the next target that we are expecting should be between 114 to 117, and in next 3 to 4 months, we are expecting 145, 147 on the higher side.
Some pretty aggressive targets on Geometric, which is 5 rupees away from its 52-week high. To the second idea, then, Z, and no reasons as to why you shouldn't pick that out. It's one of CLSA's top India picks, and analysts believe that it will benefit from digitization. Shrikant, what's your view?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, largely it's expected the broadcaster will surely benefit. Which digital equipment maker or digital player will benefit is not sure. Whether then benefits or Dish benefits or Hathway benefits. Z is surely going to be a beneficiary as the subscriber numbers get reported, and so clearly it's a good buy from a medium to longer term perspective. Also, there is decent momentum being seen in the consumption or expenditure related themes. So that's where this comes into play. I've taken it with a very small stop loss. The problem, however, with all the consumption themes is that the valuations are not very attractive. Unless you have a medium to kind of longer term perspective, they may not look attractive from a short term for a short term investor. That's a risk of recommending any of the consumption related themes, whether it be lever, ITC, or any, even for that matter, Z.
Okay, those are some critical levels and factors that are working in favor of a Z, entertainment. Away from that, let's talk about a Glenmark Pharma. And Saurabh, what's your opinion really on this mid-cap pharma space, and why would you pick a Glenmark vis-a-vis, say, a Divi's Laboratory or some of the other names?
Well, the pharma sector has been doing really well, and Glenmark is one of good performers in the sector. But, it's rallied almost 40% in the last 6 months. So I've just taken a defensive position here. There might be some delays with its HIV-related drugs. But overall, I'm still positive on the stock, but it's just a short-term call just for the day. and maybe looking for a little profit taking in the stock, which is probably not happening right now because the market's kind of doing nothing. But you know, because again, I reiterate, because I have a hedge portfolio, I thought of taking a short call in this stock, but doesn't mean that I am negative on the stock. The stock will still continue to do well. It's just a very short-term call.
Okay, a very short-term call on a Glenmark, and it's tempered off from the high point of the day as well. Arvind, is what you're selecting at a price of 65. Shrikant, would you wait for it to lower to 50 levels to buy it?
I think, see, like the stock has completed its target. If we select, go through with the, I can say, weekly charts, then there we can see that the stock is like forming lower lows. But at the same time, if we calculate the Fibonacci retracements, then the stock is very close to its support area of 65, 66. And from here again, we can expect one bounce back, which may last up to maybe 74 or 77 in the near term. Even if we go through with the, say, like volume indicator, then that in that also we are seeing a substantial improvement. So I think from here, with a, say, like minimal stop loss of, say, like 64.50, certainly we can trade long at current levels for the minimum target of 69, but maximum we can expect 74 or 77 on the high side.
Okay, Shrikant Chauhan expecting some buying to come into, and Arvind 70 to 75 is the sort of target you could expect. Let's take you through the calculator then to tell you how our three experts' portfolios are doing right now. Shrikant Shetty, Jet Airways is the only spot of bother where he's been stopped out. The other Shrikant is in the green territory, and overall the portfolio is making a small marginal gain of about 640 rupees. Saurabh Mittal, on the other hand, we've got a JSW Energy where he's hit the target. SBI, Glenmark Pharma, those two short calls not working in his favor, but not to worry because he's making a gain of about 5,700 rupees on the portfolio. Shrikant Chauhan then, well, it's 2 out of 4 in the green for him as well, but overall he's managing to maintain the lead with gains of about 2.5%, that's about 12,900 rupees. With that, we'd actually slip into a very quick break, but come right back because we'll discuss stock numbers 3 and 4 with our three experts. Thanks very much for staying on with us on DNFM, the stock game. Well, we are of course going to discuss ideas number 3 and 4 with our three experts then. And Shrikant, let's talk about your third pick, which is a Jet Airways. And the counter lost, yesterday from 340 odd, we are down to about 328 right now. And with someone with not a very diversified portfolio, would you advise them to take exposure to the aviation sector at all?
I think, see, it's a riskier bet, no doubt about it, given that the various problems in the sector. But we've seen a turnaround happening in at least the plays like SpiceJet and Jet Airways. These are a couple of stocks, a couple of companies which have reported turnaround recently. And given that what's happening in the industry, the players which are going to remain are clearly going to be the beneficiaries. So it's a post, I think, what's happening in this currently in this sector, we should see improvement happening. So that from medium to longer term perspective, I think SpiceJet, Jet Airways remain the better bets from a medium longer term perspective. Again, from a short term perspective, we've seen the stock correct substantially from 400 odd levels when the expectation was high on in terms of FDI in airlines, plus the fact that they reported good numbers and turned around. So from then on, we've seen a sharp correction coming through. And I think there is scope for a pullback from these levels, maybe to 360, 380 kind of zone. So I'm looking for a trading pullback here.
Okay, looking for a trading pullback, and it's not done much in the last 3 months. They're up by just about 1%. To JSW Energy, it's on every brokerage's radar, Deutsche Bank as well as Macquarie. What's the reason, Saurabh, that you've selected it?
Well, the energy stocks have been under pressure due to uncertainty over fuel costs, but I think the coal supplies have now normalized, and in fact, fuel prices have decreased, so they will benefit from that. Their plant load factor has also gone up. The Vijayanagar plant is having a much higher plant load factor now. So I think overall JSW Energy will benefit from these changes in the environment. And it's a short-term call, but it's to be there on the radar for the long term as well. And we've seen a decent move today. I think the target has been hit on this stock.
Absolutely, the target has been achieved already, and Saurabh believes this is probably a good stock to keep on your radar from a longer term perspective as well. Let's talk about Tata Chemicals, a stock really which hasn't done much, whichever way you cut it, on a 1 month basis, 3 month basis, whether you look at it from the start of this year. Shrikant, it's not done anything at all, so why have you gone ahead and bought it?
Yeah, the reason behind looking at this particular stock is the stock has spent a lot of time somewhere around 310 to 305 levels, And yesterday it has, say like the stock has broken very nicely the falling trend line at 310 levels. The volumes are also rising since last 3 days. So I think in my sense, the way like the Advanta or Kaveri Seeds or say like rallies, they are like doing well in last say like we can say last few weeks. I think Tata Chemicals can also will also participate or join this particular rally. I think from here maximum that we can expect 350, 355 because it's also like again illiquid stock, so we have to buy and hold for at least next few weeks. But with the trading view, the way like it has broken the falling trend line, I think in my sense today or tomorrow we can see the levels of 325, 327 on the higher side. So minimum we can expect 319, 318 in today's date, and the stop loss is very nearby around 305, 306 levels. So we have to buy at current levels with a stop loss of say like 305 for the target of 319 or 325 on the high side.
Okay, those are some of the levels to watch out for on Tata Chemicals. Let's also alert some of those flashes coming in on your screen. Gold prices have hit a record high. So as we speak, quoting at a level of 31,742. Remember, you do have gold, which has been on quite an upswing over the past few days. It has been tracking the euro and staying with its eyes clearly on the ECB meet, and that's going to bring about some new announcements that will certainly help contain the eurozone crisis. But most of the we will be watching out for some more data from gold, and it's also on account of the rupee weakening against the greenback. We pointed out that it is at 56 against the US dollar today, and that's certainly aiding the movement of gold prices. But to the last and final idea in our experts portfolio, it's the Kaveri Seeds that you're betting on. It was a great set of numbers. Shrikant, is this already in the price?
No, I think if you look at some of the seed companies or even the agri companies, there is scope for strong growth coming here. And if you look at the past 3-4 years kind of growth of Kaveri Seeds, there's been a strong growth performance coming from the company. So in that sense, I think there is significant scope for upsides from a medium to longer term kind of perspective. Also, its valuations are quite attractive at 10-11 times current earnings. So there is scope for upsides. From here, I picked it purely from a trading perspective with about it's a stop loss of around 850 or the levels for a target of about 895.
Okay, that's the word coming in on Kaveri Seeds. The counter looking pretty muted in the session right now. What about an Asian Paint, Saurabh? That's your last and final pick for the day. And given the sort of returns that it's given from the start of this year alone, and the fact that it is really an indirect play on the consumption theme as well, how much higher do you think the counter can test over the next year or so?
Well, this stock has performed steadily for as long as I can remember. It's been one of the best stocks in the market. It is the largest paint manufacturer in India and the third largest in Asia. And it's a very professionally managed company, one of the best in the country. And it's always focused on building shareholder value, and that has been rewarded by the markets. The last quarter was also pretty good, up 9% on profits at 288 crores. And like you said, it's a consumption story, and with the economy growing and more development in the housing sector, paint will always be needed. And this stock will remain at the forefront of this sector, and it's going to be a steady grower. I don't expect any major jumps anytime soon, but it's a fantastic stock to hold in your portfolio for the long term.
Yes, indeed it is, and the stock price quoting up in the green as we speak and on the radar of most of the analysts. Let's take it to your last and final pick, Shrikant. IVRCL Infra, what made you select the counter given that technically it's below its daily moving averages?
Yeah, it is say like below its moving averages, but the thing is that it is very close to its May's lowest levels of say like 38, 37, and I have seen that for traders especially, those stocks are rewarding which have given excellent returns when the market recovered from December lowest levels. So in that we have seen rally out of say like HDIL, or I can say even JP Associates, IVRCL Infra. So I think IVRCL Infra is very close to its support area of 37, 38. So with a stop loss of say like 38, 50, 38, 40, we can certainly enter into a long positions, because yesterday also the stock has managed to cross its previous highs levels. Like in last 3 days, the stock is certainly performing. So in my sense, I think again if it's say like breaks 39.50 in today's date, then we can expect minimum 41, but maximum I think 44, 45 is not ruled out. So it's a buy with a very minimal stop loss at current levels.
Okay, stop loss at 38.40, target at 40. As we speak, the counter is off by 0.6%. But who's winning, who's losing? I think the calculator will give us the answer to that. So Shrikant Shetty up first. He's been stopped out on Jet Airways, but it's 2 out of 4 which are in the green. Now he's losing out on the overall portfolio very marginally, so off by just about 400 bucks. Moving on to Saurabh Mittal, remember he's been in the second spot, looks like there's no change with that. JSW Energy is a great spot for him today. 1% is what he's gained, so that's now 5,700 rupees, pretty much status quo. For Shrikant Shetty, he's holding on to the numero uno position, not the best of days for him, but still he's in the lead by a good margin, 2.5%, so that's 12,700 rupees. Well, thanks very much, gentlemen, for joining in on the show. All the very best for tomorrow, and we look forward to all your trading ideas. We'll wrap it up right here on BNSN The Stock Game. Goodbye from Megha, me and the entire team that put the show together. Up next is Market Sense.